In a lab in Melbourne, scientists are building a new kind of computer. It isn't made of silicon, and it isn't programmed with code. It is grown from living human cells. This shift is driven by a massive energy problem. Every time you ask an AI to write an email or generate an image, somewhere a server burns electricity to find the answer. By next year, the amount of power required to keep these machines running is expected to double. Yet the most efficient computer ever built is already sitting right behind your eyes. Your brain operates 86 billion neurons on just 20 watts of power. That is less electricity than the light bulb in your kitchen. To solve the AI energy crisis, researchers are looking to borrow this biological architecture, integrating living tissue directly into our hardware. This is the CL1, a device created by Cortical Labs. It contains a web of about 800,000 living human neurons suspended in a nutrient-rich fluid on top of a silicon chip. To test its capabilities, researchers wired these cells into the video game Pong. Without any external software or instructions, the neurons learn to track the ball and move the paddle in just 5 minutes, faster than many silicon-based AI models. Since no one programmed these cells, their ability to play comes from an inherent biological drive to interact with and organize the information they receive. Building a biological computer happens in 6 steps. First, regular human blood cells are chemically reversed into stem cells and grown into neurons. These neurons then settle onto a chip covered in a grid of tiny electrodes. Third, the system must keep the cells alive. A microfluidic life support system pumps warm pink nutrient fluid over the grid and removes waste through microscopic tubes. The computer communicates with the cells through electricity. In steps 4 and 5, the chip sends patterns of electrical pulses in, the input, and reads the signals the neurons fire back, the output. The final step is training. When the neurons provide the correct output, the system sends back a calm, predictable signal. When they get it wrong, they are hit with random electrical noise. Because neurons naturally seek to avoid chaotic signals, they physically rewire their own connections to find the calm of the correct answer. This means we don't type commands into Wetware. Instead, we rely on the cell's own physical effort to organize itself and escape electrical chaos. This creates a new blurred line between machine and organism. If a chip is made of cells that physically grow, reach out, and change their behavior to avoid negative stimuli, it is no longer just a tool. It is a biological system with its own form of agency. Scientists and ethicists are now beginning to debate how to classify these systems and whether a computer that can feel chaos requires a new set of ethical protections. While labs in Melbourne focus on the theory, the practical value of this technology is clearest in places with limited infrastructure. In rural Maharashtra, traditional cloud-based AI is often unusable because the internet bandwidth is too unreliable to reach distant data centers. This chest X-ray shows the upper lung area, where a doctor looks for signs of tuberculosis. Because a Wetware device runs on only 20 watts, it can perform this screening locally, spotting anomalies with high accuracy without ever needing a cloud connection. In Punjab, a cotton farmer can use a handheld device to identify crop-destroying pests. Because the model is trained on local field data rather than generic global sets, it provides answers tailored to his specific district. For millions of people, Wetware provides a way to access high-level medical and agricultural expertise that doesn't depend on a massive power grid. Historically, India has spent billions importing silicon chips from abroad. However, Wetware is built on biology, leveraging stem cell research and microfluidics. These are fields where institutions like IISc Bangalore already have world-class expertise. By moving the bottleneck of computing from silicon fabrication to biological engineering, India can bypass the global hardware race and compete using its own established strengths in biotechnology. The next decade of technology will likely be defined by a move towards efficiency. We are learning that the future of intelligence isn't just about building faster machines, but about working with the living systems we already have. Thanks for watching Wonder Owl. To see more Technology Decoded, scan the code or hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you for the next one.